Good evening, good evening, good evening. If it is indeed evening where you at. I wanted to talk about this case right here that I just saw. And I just wanted to say, first of all, I'm flabbergasted. We already had the case of, I think it was the 9-year-olds or something like that. I think it was two boys and a girl or something like that that had really attacked the little black girl. And now we have boys aged 12, 13, and 15 that raped a 12-year-old girl and stuff rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming. I want to know when we are going to address the problem that there are a lot of lawless young black boys that are extremely problematic, and we always want to put these on black mothers and that it's the single mothers raising these sons to be these monsters. But if that is indeed the case, why is it that the black girls are not doing the same thing? Why you don't hear about a group of 5 black girls that are 12 and 13 that drugged some young black boy that was 12 into the bushes or something and did whatever to him? Why is it that you're only hearing about these things in reverse? If it is the single mothers that are causing these young black boys to be monsters, that's a question that I have. Like, why is it not happening to the girls in the same way? Why are they not behaving in this manner? If it is indeed, like I said, a black single mother issue. And I wish that we could admit in the black community that it is not the single black mother that's the problem. It is not, and it's not black culture either. It is a specific subset of culture that lawless black males, a collective of lawless black males, not every black male, but a nice percentage have created and curated, and that is the issue, and that is what is affecting these young black boys. It's not black mothers and it's not black women and it's not black girls, because as we all know, black men, whether they be young, whether they be old, they do not listen to black women on any level. So that's something that I really, really want to talk about. And I also want to talk about recognizing, I said this before and I got a lot of flack about it. I said that certain hairstyles, certain ways of styling your hair right now, and this doesn't apply to black women. So if you're a black woman and you have sister locks, or you have regular locks, or you have free forms, or whatever the case may be, this doesn't apply to you, sister. But I will say that this hairstyle that these young black boys and also young black men are wearing is also an indicator of their mental state and if they have been infected with the most toxic parts of black male culture specifically. Like every time, I'm not going to say every time, but a lot of the time you see young black men, young black boys acting a fool, doing crazy things. Their hair is styled just like these young black boys in these pictures. Trying to be NBA young boy, Dirk, Pooh Shiesty, who the heck ever. You know what I'm saying? And those are warning signs, red flags, visual red flags that you can see in young boys that you need to stay away from and steer clear of. Let's see here. Somebody said fatigue is real at this point. The person that said fatigue is real at this point, I really hope that you're not YT. I really hope not, because YT men make up the largest percentage of PDF files and rapists and chomos by far, almost 70% of y'all. So I know it can't possibly be no YT person in here saying that. So don't do that. Let me block you though. Cause it's so crazy that y'all can say something about black people, but y'all don't never know nothing about what y'all sick people be doing. But let me block you though. Have a great day. Bye-bye. You're blocked. And so as I was saying here, I really want to talk about this because I'm tired of excuses being made, like for real. And every time you see young black boys do something like this, all of a sudden, or even a black man do something like this, instead of making them take accountability for their actions and their behaviors, people start putting it on black women. Oh, it's that black mother fault. Oh, it's that black grandma fault. Oh, it's the black girl that they violated. It's all of their fault. It has nothing to do with these black boys. And then we want to make all of these excuses for, oh, these black boys, this white tea supremacy. They're suffering and struggling being black men. It's so hard for them. Okay, if it's hard for them, well, how hard is it for the black girls that are not only pray for systemic racism and white tea supremacy, but they're also pray for black boys like these? So wouldn't it be harder for black girls because they have it coming from all avenues? And not only that, but they're also pray for the men and boys in their community. Because black men are not prayed by black women. Black women are not preying on black men and black boys. So I mean, this is something that like I really, really, really am upset about. And it's getting out of hand and nobody's talking about it. Then you have all of these black men that make all of these red pill, anti-black women podcasts where what they do is sit there and, violate and disrespect and degrade black women 24/7 and then wonder why the young men that they are supposed to be raising they hate black women. They hate black girls. They don't understand why. Oh my goodness, I don't understand why my son hates black women. I don't understand. Von B, you said, Von B says women do pray too. Von B, I'd like to let you know something. Statistically speaking, yes, women have preyed on black boys and black men, but the majority of the majority of X crimes, all of that is done by men. And I think that when women always have to turn around and try to put it on to women as if this is a huge problem for women, I find it to be very off-putting. Like, you can put your cape down today. I promise, like, black men are not going to unalive if you take off your cape today. You don't have to have it on 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to have the cape on, that's cool, sister. But you don't have to have it on today. Because this isn't that. This isn't for that today. For you to have your cape on. And if you have your cape on, please get out. Get out of my life. Because if you see me talking about a young black girl that's 12 years old that got violated, and your first thing is to tell me, oh, it's not black women pray too, get out of my life. And I really mean that. I mean that wholeheartedly. Get out of my life. And don't ever come back. I don't ever want to see your face again. Because black women like that, I promise, like, y'all don't understand that y'all are ruining the black community. Y'all think that y'all are not, but y'all are ruining the black community. And I just can't. I can't tolerate it no more. I can't. Hold on, y'all. I had to see what y'all saying here in the comments. Hold on. Okay. Somebody said boy moms. That's what I'm saying. Like, geez Louise. Von B says you was correcting me. You weren't correcting me. You didn't correct nothing. You just put your cape on, ma'am. I know that there are women that have done bad things to boys and to men. But what I'm saying is collectively, black women and black girls are not preying on black boys and black men. That is a fact. It's a statistical fact. It's a statistical fact. So what are we really talking about? Like, if you want to have your cape on, like I said, for black men, do that. But you just can't do it here. You can't do it here. I'm not going to let you do it here today. Yeah, and like I said, you're a disgrace. And I really mean that. Get out of my life and don't come back. Never come back. Never, ever, ever come back. Matter of fact, let me screenshot you and see who you are. I'm going to block you myself. Let's see. Let me go up here and find this lady. Because I'm going to block her. I never want to see you again. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. You block her. She got to get the heck up out of here. Bye-bye. You're gone. Not today, Satan. Not today, Satan. You got to go. You got to go. All right, that lady is blocked. I blocked her because this ain't that. We're not even going to talk about that today. Well, I promise we're not. But like I said, I really think that it's very important for black women to stop sharing in the sins of black men and black boys stop sharing in the sins. Because I promise you, every time I see people, racist people, when they talk about the black community and black culture and all of this stuff, they're always talking about, oh, you guys are doing the unalive and you guys are doing the this to that. All of the things that they ever mention are not things that black women are doing. So why in the world are black women and black men being put in the same pile? Any other time black men want to separate and say, we're the most desirable, but not you heifers. Everybody loves the black men. We're so beautiful. We're so this, but not you nappy-headed black women. But then when everybody wants to talk about the crime in the black community or the bad things that black men are the ones doing the majority of, now we got to be all black people together. Now let's stick together. It's the black community. It's the black community. It's not just the black men. It's y'all too. Like, yeah, no. No. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that no more. We're not going to do that anymore at all. You know? And I'm like I said, I'm just tired of it. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's getting ridiculous and it's getting out of hand. And, you know, these black mothers or whatever that are boy moms, or these black mothers that are mammies and pygmies, that I think that they also turn a blind eye to this type of behavior and make it acceptable. And it's not acceptable, man. It's not acceptable. It's not cute. It's not cool to be like this. You mean to tell me y'all don't think that there is something wrong with a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old that can take a girl and violate her at 12? Like, what? Imagine. And let me say this. The excuses that I have seen being made for these boys, if it was a black girl, a group of black girls, right, that did something like this, every TikTok right now would be about this. Every TikTok would be about how black women are ruined and these young black girls are incorrigible and da-da-da-da-da. But we sit here and make excuses for these monsters. And if you think that these boys are going to be rehabilitated, they're not. They're not. They're going to get charged as adults. They're going to go into the system. They're going to learn even worse behavior from the grown men that are there. They're also going to be victimized and taken advantage of and violated by other black men in the prison system. And they're going to come out and be a bajillion times worse. And not only that, they're going to blame black women and black girls for the reason why they were in trouble and not their piss poor behavior and the fact that they violated this young, innocent black girl. I just can't even believe it. Exactly, Mina. The community is more mad at Meg Thee Stallion and Sierra than the crime that is afflicted on black women. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and for anybody says that will tell me like, oh, we should feel sorry for these boys. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for them at all. I don't have any pity for them. I don't have any sympathy for them. I don't have any empathy for them. I don't have anything. Let's see here. Somebody says proud cat eater. You don't know that. Okay, let's have a conversation. You can come up and get in the box and we can talk about how what I said is not an assumption. It's a inevitability. But okay. Let's see here. Jenny says, where is BLM? I tell you, where is WLM? Where is the fact that y'all don't know how to like stop y'all men, these white tea men from looking at kids and touching kids and advocating to groom newborn babies and 1-year-olds? You figure that out first, Janie, and then come back to me. All right. Let's see here. And you know how like people will tell you it's an assumption. That's not an assumption. Like, are you dumb? Like, really, legitimately, are you dumb? You have a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 15-year-old that took a 12-year-old and raped her and stuffed rocks in her mouth to stop her from screaming. You think that those boys can be rehabilitated? Are you dumb? And that they're getting charged as adults and they're going into the penal system where they're going to be surrounded by black men that are going to prey on them and victimize them as well? Are you think that that is they're going to be rehabilitated? Are you mentally well? Do you know that the recidivism rate for regular criminals is like almost at 80%? Almost 80% of prisoners go back to jail within the first 3 years. Are you dumb? So what do you think is going to happen to boys that are in the developmental stage still in brain development? That's going to happen being in an environment like they're going to be in, and they're going to be right when they come out? That's not an assumption. That's a fact, baby. What? Like, what be wrong with y'all? Do you know how crazy and deranged you have to be to behave like this at 12, 13, and 15? Huh? Okay. All right. Once again, what I want to talk about. Hey, how you doing, Brown Sugar? Black men are failing black boys, and that's a fact. Black boys, black men are failing black boys, and it's just that simple. That is what is happening. And you can blame black mothers, you can blame single mothers, you can blame wigs, you can blame lashes, you can blame acrylic full sets, but you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. Black men are failing black boys. They are not raising these boys, not giving these boys any type of character or moral lessons because they don't have any morals. Their fathers are morally bankrupt. So how can they tell the boys how to have some respect for girls and respect for women when they didn't have any? How can these black boys learn when you have rich black men that push forth negative, harmful ideology? Okay, Proud Cat. Okay, first of all, your name is Proud Cat Eater. So you talking about that the conversation isn't progressive is already crazy in itself. Because what is wrong with you? Do you know people that put forth what they do sexually out in the open normally can't do anything that they're talking about? That's number one. And number two, those are people that are mentally broken. So if we want to have a progressive conversation, we can talk about that. We can talk about that. Why are you have that as your name and what are you compensating for? And also ask the fact that people that normally are very overtly sexual in public places normally got bum bumps and they looking to infect other people because they're upset at what their promiscuity has given them. So we can talk about that if you want to real quick before we get back onto the black boys. We can talk about that, Proud Eater. You want to talk about that? Like, but I bet you don't though. But anyway, do better. Like, and if you're not gonna come up in the box, get out of my live. I will block you. Okay? I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to get in the live, Proud Eater. That's what you have, Eater. You got 10 seconds to get in the box. And if you don't, then you're getting blocked. It's really just that simple. So that's what we're gonna do for you. So I'll give you a countdown. I'm not even gonna give you a countdown of 10. I'm gonna give you a countdown of 5. 5, 4, 3. I'll give you one more. 2, 1. All right, I'm gonna go on once. You there, Proud Eater? You ready to talk about that? Going twice. You not ready to talk about it? Cool, I got you. Let me go ahead and send you to Blockiana. Blockiana World. Hold on, let me get you. Let me go back and find your name. So I can go ahead and block you. Have a great day. Bye-bye. All right. Anywho, like I was saying, like, I really think that this is an important conversation to have, truthfully, because what is going on? You have all of these 19-year-old, 20, 21-year-old black boys deleting their black girlfriends, their black baby mamas, And we just say, oh, it was probably her fault. Oh, she should have left sooner. Oh, she shouldn't have did this, that, and the third. Oh, da 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 da. Like, we making excuses for the boys that are 19, 20, 21, 22 that are deleting their black girlfriends and black baby mamas. Now we got 12, 13, and 15-year-olds raping little girls. I'm done making excuses. I don't care if this doesn't sound, if y'all feel like this is an attack against black boys or black men. I could care less how you feel. But until we address the fact that these issues are caused by black males, we're not going to be able to get anywhere. Black men are failing their black sons and black boys. Period. No, men don't listen to women. If men listen to women, the world wouldn't be in the situation that it's in. So clearly, men don't listen to women, and black men sure don't listen to black women. These boys are listening to black men. Period. They're listening to black men, and also their black fathers are failing them. And I want to talk about it. If anybody wants to come up in the box and have a discussion about it, we can. Just send me a request. If you want to debate about it, you can send me a request. I wouldn't have even blocked the proud eater if they are accepting my request. I wouldn't have even blocked the other lady that was caping for black men. I would have, sure, brown sugar, I would have added her up. So if you debate what I'm saying, please send me a request. Like, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. You know what I'm saying? But I'm tired of black girls being attacked by black men and black boys and nobody speaking out and saying nothing about it and saying whose fault it really is. And it ain't the single mama fault. Oh, hey, go ahead, brown sugar. Hey, how you doing, sis?
Trig, hey ladies, make sure we're liking the live, sharing the live. I did want to say on whatever that proud cat eater, I went on his page while he was taking a fork and like poking it in the salad and making moaning noises. So he was a weirdo.
What?
Anyway, yes, yes, yes. Yes. I lurked on his page and he was poking the salad and making moaning noises. It was the weirdest thing ever. But this story kind of reminds me of that 5-year-old girl who got her braids ripped out. It was like a few months back and she was essayed by, a group of little boys. I don't know if you remember that. But I will say this story is disheartening and black men need to do better, period. And, blaming women for their misfortune of not standing up and actually raising their black boys is a problem because they abandon their sons the most and they refuse to take any accountability of why they do not want to be present. They enjoy, having smacks with women and abandoning them with the children and leaving these boys with no guidance. And then they hang around their peers, their quote unquote peers of other misguided black males that they don't have no idea what it is to be a man, to treat women with respect. So that's where they're getting all this from. They're not getting it from their mothers. They are getting it from the other males in their lives, their friends. And it's just like, how do they know how to do something this demonic? Are these children being introduced to corn? Who is introducing these children to this violent corn? Like, that is a problem. And I wonder, are these young men, are they being preyed on sexually by older people and their, older males violently? Because, the cycle of that stuff goes on, because how do children know how to do all this if they're not being touched by somebody? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not excusing it or anything, but somebody is introducing this nasty behavior from, to these children, and it has to be the adults that are in their lives or the lack of adults in their lives. Because, I don't know these young men, these young boys, but black men need to do better. They need to step up and stop worrying about hairs, weave, lashes, and what black women are doing, and actually raise the black men in the community, actually actively participate. They'll say, oh, I'm not being no stepfather and all this other stuff. But there's a whole bunch of black boys that they could be giving mentorship to. They don't even want to do that. They don't even want to take the time to go to the schools and actually mentor these young boys, put them in sports, put them in activities. They don't even want to do that. So, I'll land there for now, but this is unacceptable. It's gross. I'm really mad.
I mean, I definitely agree with you. I think it's like really disgusting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I agree with what you say, and I get your perspective. I feel like sometimes I feel like a lot of it has to do with programming. Like, okay, this is probably gonna sound politically incorrect, but I'm gonna say it. Okay, this is okay. Back when I used to do hair, right? I also used to travel to people if they were willing to, pay the house call fee or whatnot. So this was a long, long time ago. I remember going to this lady's house. She had a man, she had a baby daddy, she had boys over there, and she had the most disgusting videos playing on the TV. I'm talking about, like, them hood movies where the women are like extremely ghetto and the men are beating the women, cheating on the women, all type of, just crazy scenarios going on where basically the whole thing centers around the black woman being devalued and the black man being a criminal in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and how they're navigating this disgusting world of struggle, love, and toxicity and violence and infidelity and everything like that. And her sons, they were all under the age of 15. Sitting there watching this stuff, and she sounded all crazy. The baby daddy sounded all crazy. And they were sitting there really looking at this stuff. I think a lot of it has to do with programming, and I think now with social media, and you have all of these black male, worse than Tyler Perry, Miss Cerise, way worse than that. I think that now, and then what you got social media, so you have all of these men that deeply, deeply, deeply despise black women and black girls, or they're also trying to prey on black women and black girls, making content or making lives and things like that that may speak to the spirits of young boys like this. They did a study where they said, and this doesn't apply just to the black boys, also the white boys are becoming incels at a higher rate, and because the red pill content creators normally are looking for a demographic of 11 to, like, it was like 15 or something. So they're acting out and doing stuff real crazy and hating girls and stuff like that. I think that is also affecting their minds and the way that they interact with young girls and also women in general. Not to mention, we already have black culture, black male culture specifically, that is rooted in the disrespect and the degradation and the violation of black women and black girls. And I think all of that plays a part in it. Not to mention that their black fathers are either not around, or they're around but they're morally bankrupt, and they have been raised with the same lack of character and decency that they are instilling or not instilling in these young boys. But I just know I don't want to hear nothing about black mothers. I don't want to hear nothing about YT supremacy. I don't want to hear nothing about Trump, because none of this has to do with the reason why these boys did that. It has everything to do with the fact that there are a lot of lawless black boys and black men who are enabled by not only black women but black men, the entire black community, to be piss poor, because we allow them to be coddled and tell them that nothing that they're doing is wrong. It's always somebody else's fault. And it's not. And I'm here to say I don't have a lick of pity, sympathy, empathy for these young boys. Whatever they get is what they get, and they deserve it all. Ain't nowhere in the world you're going to tell me that it is normal behavior for a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 15-year-old to do something so egregious to a 12-year-old. These are monsters in the making. If you think that they are not going to be even worse in 5 years, you're crazy. They're not going to turn around. And I wish that people would stop this. Oh, we don't know what they could be. The majority of people never change who they are fundamentally. Normally, we may grow up and mature somewhat, but a lot of us, and I'll say the majority of us, still have a lot of the qualities that we had when we were coming up. And that's just what it is. People normally don't change unless it's something super, super duper life changing for them to be like, you know what, I gotta stop this. And most of the time, if you're talking about a man, that's virtually never gonna happen. So if you think that these boys are going to somehow turn around and be something that they're not, you're crazy. Like I said earlier, what they're gonna do is they're being charged as adults, so they're gonna go in the prison system. They're gonna be around even worse men. Those men are going to take advantage of these boys. They gonna get what they gave that 12-year-old girl and way worse. They're gonna come out mentally broken and damaged, and they're gonna do something to somebody and go right back to the joint. That's exactly what's gonna happen. And I just want to say this again. I also said, and everybody was, well, not everybody, okay? Let me not say that. There were a lot of black women mad at me when I made that live stream where I said that there are visual red flags to look at when you're looking at possible criminalistic or animalistic criminal behavior, bad behavior in black men and black boys. And I said this does not apply to black women once again. So if you're a black woman, you have free forms, you got sister locks, you got regular locks. This is not for you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking if you see black boys and black men with their hair like this and the other hairstyles that I have in my visual red flags video, leave those men alone. I leave those boys alone. I promise you they have been infected by the most toxic aspects of black male culture possible. You want to leave them alone. Wholeheartedly and truly. I just want to say that because certain aesthetics attract certain types of mindsets. They all want to be NBA young boy and all of these other degenerates. And that's the reason why their hair is like this. It don't got nothing to do with loving their blackness or loving natural hair or wanting to show the white tea people, rebellion or show that you love your black hair. It has nothing to do with none of that. So for all the black women that project onto these boys and say, well, that's why I'm wearing my hair natural. That's why you're wearing your hair natural, sister. That ain't why they're doing it. They could care less. Black men don't have no attachment to their hair like that. That's the reason why most of them go to the barber and get cuts. And if y'all didn't know, the first person to ever make hair straightener was a black man, those conks. If anybody is old enough to know what that means. When you saw like old black men back in the days, like in my grandpa's days, the 30s or whatnot, wearing those slick back hairdos, they were putting chemical processes in their hair for that. Black men were the first ones to not like their hair. If y'all want to talk about it, why y'all always talking about black women hate themselves because they have wigs on or they getting relaxers or whatever the case may be. Black men are the first ones that started it. But I digress on that. All I'm saying is that I'm tired of it, and I'm absolutely wholeheartedly repulsed and disgusted by this situation. And I don't know how many more things that we have to see of black girls and black women being victimized before we take a stand. Because you can clearly see that black women, whether they're a grandma age or whether they're a younger age or whether they're a child, they are not protected at all. Just like, what's the guy named Jarvis Butts or whatever that was grooming and raping his, what was that, his girlfriend's niece or something like that? I forgot the niece, and I think she was the niece, right? If y'all know what I'm talking about, I think his name is Jarvis Butts or whatever. How he unalived her because he impregnated her, and he had a history of PDF activity.
Yes, I remember that case. Yeah.
Like, the black girls are not safe. Black women are not safe. And elder black women are not safe either. I sat there and watched the video of a young black boy. He got in trouble for this. I think he was like 17 go on a lady's porch that was clearly elderly. I don't know. She looked like she was at least 70 and fondle her. I'm like, what in the world is going on? But we're making excuses. I just, I don't know, man. I don't know. And I just, I don't know. I don't know, man. And I just seeing black women still attempt to defend this behavior is really, it's really unacceptable. It really is. It's really, really unacceptable. And side note, brown sugar, girl, because of what you said, I unblocked that man and
Mm-hmm.
went on his page. Oh, I, oh my goodness. You did not tell me the seriousness of that. You did not tell me the seriousness of that.
I felt bad for the salad. I'm like, what is going on?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Kamisha said what, man? Okay, so there's a man, if you want to look it up on TikTok, you could just look up proud cat eater, but it'll say like proud cat eater, and then it'll have like souls on it. So you could just look up proud cat eater, and then the other name underneath it would be Karma Sutra Magic. If you look at the first video on that person's page, that will tell you everything that you need to know, Miss Kamisha. But beware though.
Highly inappropriate.
That man is a nut. Now I see the reason why he came in here was trying to do that, because he's probably one of those people too. He's a sick person as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
Did
go
you
ahead, go
see
ahead.
that DoorDash guy who it's on TikTok, but he was a PDF file, registered ex offender, and he doing a DoorDash, and the little boy, he was 12 years old, answered the door, and he said, "Hey, you beautiful, you taken?" And the little boy says, "What?" And he repeats it, "You beautiful, you taken." The little boy slams the door. So it's a lot of crazy, men out here. But to get back to that point, I feel like black women and black men, black women and black girls are being attacked right now. And I hate to see how black women are on snooze. Like, I'm seeing all these lives about dumb stuff, dating. I seen a live today about why black women accept white women but not white men. Who cares? The femicide rates are out of control. They're out of control, and no one is saying anything about it besides you. You're the only one on YouTube that I've seen. I think Sinji, some other content creators, but it's not publicized about the femicide rates and the dangers that are happening to young black girls. And my daughter's in school, and I see a lot of young black girls, and I feel sad for them because they're so beautiful and they have a lot of future in their eyes, and they're so bright. And to see that they could be possibly be hurt one day by these fools and nobody's doing anything. It's just like it's a regular day and nobody cares. And I just wonder, what is it going to take for everybody, including some black women, to truly care about black women and girls? That's my question. What is it going to take?
I definitely understand what you're saying. I don't know. I don't really know. I really don't know. I just feel like it's an uphill battle, because I really feel like no one cares about black women the way that they should. No one cares about black women the way they should. And um even when it comes to black women, you know, it's so many black women that actively work against trying to get us to, trying to get a thing where we say, hey, we're going to take a stand on this or that. There'll be black women that are actively work against that. And you're just looking like, do you know that you working against this is working against you too? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's very upsetting me. Like when I saw this, I was just like, how much worse does it have to get? You know?
Yeah.
Just one second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that, you guys. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I feel like, um, you know, yeah, I feel like the only way that we can do anything really to make any type of headway at this point is I think we have to not have any. I don't want to say we need to turn into monsters because I don't believe that that's what we need to do, but I do believe like the time for empathy and sympathy and making excuses and trying to offer any type of protection or mammying, excuse me, for black men. I think that we got to stop. I think that no, I think that we can't at all. I just think we can't moving forward because like I said, the lady that was in here earlier, when I said that black women and black girls are prey for black men and it's not the same in reverse, she came in and said, oh no, that's not true, like black women do prey on black men and black boys. And I'm not saying that, like I told her, that there aren't any black women that have preyed on black boys or even black men. I said, but this isn't the time to say that because that's a small percentage. And why are you bringing that up when we're focusing on black women right now? The deep-seated need that some black women have to mammy for black men when black men would never, ever, ever, ever do that for them is, I don't know. I don't know what type of madness that is, to be honest with you. I don't know.
I feel like
It's
it's a default because my mother does the same thing too. I'll talk about things that black men and black boys do, and then it'll be like, oh, well, black girls do this. And I'm like, where is that coming from? Where is that coming from internally that we're talking about a topic that happens repeatedly? Because I'm from Baltimore, so there's a lot of pew 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 violence, and the main ones are doing it are black boys and black males. And it's then like, oh, okay, but girls are doing this. And it's just like, where are the statistics of that? Because every time I turn on the news, it's them who are doing that in a consistent rate. But it's just like, it's a default. And I blame that on being male centered. It's like very ingrained and then they're programmed. And it's just like, they can't unsee it. It's like they're stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like they can't free their minds from always centering about a man and in any capacity, whether it's a relationship, but it's always, I need to stand up for the black man. And I just don't understand when point of time have they ever stood up for us. Even, not saying, even in slavery times, I feel like black women went through more horrific things than they have, and we've always prevailed. We've always been there for them. We've always supported them in their causes, and we've seen them disrespect us over and over again. And I don't understand why black women can't see the pattern that we may have to leave 99% of them behind because they're not understanding. And I don't think black men are going to understand until we completely withdraw our support from them 100%.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying. And I mean, I think it's very clear to call that type of behavior out, but it's like, I don't think that those women like see any type of reason because it's like, if you guys could just think if there were, if this story was in reverse, that three black girls took a, I don't know, 12-year-old boy or a younger and violated him in the worst way and did all of the exact same things. If all black men were a panel of all black men were having a live about that particular thing, do you think that there would be a black man that would come in there when they were slandering black girls or black boys or even talking about black girls and stuff like that and black women? Excuse me, that's what I meant. Black girls and black women. Do you think that there would be a black man to come in there and would say, "Hey, you know what? We as black men, we doing this too, so we can't just get on the black women's about it." Like you would never hear that. They would never do that. So I really don't understand the idea of black women doing something for black men that isn't done for black women. It'd be different. I could halfway maybe see it if black men did it all the time too. I could say like, hey, okay, you guys are just reciprocating what you see. What you're giving to black men are giving to you. It's an interchange here. But doing something that you never, ever, 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 ever see black men do in any avenue is nuts. Like, and literally, they haven't done it for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Like, you literally saw, we'll just go back for maybe like what would that be considered? I don't know if it's like a half a century. I think it's probably longer than that. Probably like 100 years though, I guess. When you thinking about like James Earl Jones and how he was in that interview with that white tea lady, and he was talking about how black women were so militant and wanted to fight against the system, and he just wasn't with that. He just wanted to have him a white tea woman and chill. And there were these nappy headed black women with afros trying to say, hey, we as black people need to be fighting for our rights. We need to be doing this. Oh no, look, I can't be with y'all because y'all doing too much. Let me go ahead and be with Master's daughter because she's a better option than you, nappy head. Like, I just, what? These behaviors have been prevalent for longer than we've been born. Like, these are like people, grandpappies, great grandpappies that was doing this stuff. So, and it still hasn't changed at all. So the fact that black women keep doing it over and over again, I just don't even know what to say. And people like to say that, oh, it's the boomers, or it's the, what is it, millennials or Gen Xers. And they told we're changing. We got the girls that are like 18 to 21, and those girls aren't doing that. They're doing it too. Because their mamming and their male centeredness is manifested in a different way. And I'll tell you how, and I hope people don't get mad at me for saying this, but I'm gonna say it. Their way is manifested in a different way. Their way is manifested through promiscuity and also body alterations. Now, this isn't to say that if you're getting plastic surgery for, reconstructive for, you had like a double mastectomy or something like that. This isn't for that, or for black women that did it for other reasons, but you had a whole generation of women that altered their bodies permanently in a certain shape because of men and because black men specifically liked it. I don't care what nobody say, it's the truth. That's male centered. For you to go and risk your life on the riskiest surgery that has unalived plenty of people, plenty of black women, and put them in the dirt, and you're doing it so that you can get a black man to look at you and say, oh, wow, she look good, and only to give you some dick and drop you back off. Because he's not going to treat you right or make you his wife or anything of that nature, more than likely. So you are altering your body permanently for what? Dick? Temporary dick? Yuck. Then you have black women that are out here, like right now, the young black girls that are out here with their butt cheeks out. Whole 75% of the cheek is out when they wear them like little bubble skirts with their whole butts out, or them doggone shorts with the whole butt out and it's only a little top of the butt that's covered. Who are you doing that for? You're not doing it for you. Don't lie to me. And you're not doing it for other women either. Don't lie to me. You're doing it for the male gaze and male attention. That's a fact. And promiscuity. Going out on these dates with these guys and having intercourse with them the first day, the first night. You over there sucking something that you don't even know if it got something on it or not. All of those things are rooted in, oh, let me see if I do this, if I get super freaky, this guy is going to like me. He's going to want to talk to me, when that never happens. I think the male centeredness and the mamminess and all of that in black women is still prevalent. Because people like to tell you that, oh no, if you 30, like I will say, no, you know what I'm saying? Like if you 25 and up, you pretty much cooked with it. No, it's still happening with the younger girls as well. So what can we do about that? I don't know. I can only still make the content that I make and say, hey man, that's not the way to go. Cause being a black woman that mammies for black men is gonna get you nowhere. I don't care if you give a black man you rip your heart out of your chest and you put it, and I'm not talking about every black man, okay? But the collective, you take your heart out, your beating heart out, and you put it on a plate and you give it to him. And you say, hey, well, are you going to give yours to me? He going to first say, hey, I didn't ask you to do that. Who told you to give you? Who told you to give me your heart? Now I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna use it to my advantage. But who told you to give it? Huh? Because most of the time, men just take what you, they don't have to love you or care for you if to take something from you. And I think that's also what black women don't understand. I think that a lot of black women that are mammies, not just black women in general, but black women that are mammies feel like if they give and give and give and sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice, that one day that man is going to see their worth and be like, oh, okay, I respect what you've done for me. The lies he tell and the lies you're telling yourself, you'll never do it. Because if he really loved you in that way, he would never watch you do it in the first place. He would stop you. Like I got a video, I gotta edit it. I gotta edit it, y'all. I already recorded it, but I gotta edit it. I watched a video of a black man on a podcast with two other black men. He talks about how when he just turned 18, he got in trouble, got a pew pew charge, and his grandma, who was 62 at the time, took the charge so that he didn't go to prison. You know what he said? He laughed on the podcast, and so did the other black men. And he said that she lived her life. I get to live mine. The guy asked him, what did you do for her? He didn't even acknowledge nothing. He just started laughing. The other guy said, you don't feel any type of way about your grandmother doing, I think it was 4 years in prison for you. He said, no, I don't feel no type of way. I kid you not. Cold hearted. That, I'm sure that grandmother would expect some type of, she gave up 4 years of her life in her senior citizen period. And he didn't care. He sat there and laughed. That's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Like really, truly demonic behavior. And I got that on video. So if y'all don't believe me, it's not because I made sure that I put that video clip in there. Because I don't want nobody to say, oh no, you're putting this on the black man. We don't really be doing stuff like that. I'd rather, I'd rather y'all see it with your own eyes, which is why I always use clips and articles, because I can tell you something, but it hits so much better if you see it with your own eyes. And you see that what I said is factual, because I don't want you to think that I'm just trying to paint a picture to you. But anyway, disgusting, 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 disgusting. And that's what I'm trying to say. You sacrificing for the collective of black men is never going to get you anywhere. And feeling sorry for these little monsters and terrors is not going to get you anywhere. I don't feel sorry for them, like I said before. They better be glad it wasn't to my daughter, because they would be somewhere else and it wouldn't be prison, if you get my drift. And that's all I'm going to say. Now, I'm on social media. Let me not even say that. But y'all get me, read between the lines. Because, baby, what? Like, you going to put some rocks in my baby mouth? Is you cool? Like, what?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Trig, that black women need to stop coddling black men at all costs. I remember it was a story a few months ago. This elderly lady, she had to be almost in her 90s, but her family was forcing, her grandson was in and out of, the system, and she was living with him. And the family was just like, she was just like, he needs to go. He's causing too many issues. And the family, say, he can stay over there. He ended up unaliving his grandmother. And it's just like, black women, your life is going to come at a cost when trying to protect these males. They don't have any empathy and they don't care about you like that. But black women are stay sacrificing their time, their resources, their love, trying to pour into them, and yet to realize you pouring into an empty cup. They're never going to reciprocate, ever. And I would never put my life on the line for any male that I'm related to. I don't care who he is, even if it's my own father. If he's never treated me right and he has some mental health issues, you have to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, it hurt my heart to realize that lady got unalived and she was in her 80s. Why are we sticking mental health patients with elderly women in the community? The elderly women aren't even protected. So, I agree with you. It made me think of that story.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. And like, it's the elderly black women that have given everything, open up their houses, to these lawless, broke, unachieving, lazy sacks of slop, they don't even respect them. You know, like I said, I mean, I'm just done having any type of pity for them in any way, shape, form, or fashion. You know, I've seen a couple things that I felt like was egregious that happened to black men, like due to like police brutality. I remember it was one, I forgot the name of the man, but he was in the hospital, chained to the like the hospital bed, and the cops was like really they like they unalived him. And I remember seeing that, like, I think they unalived him if I'm not mistaken. I remember watching that video in disgust. I felt so much pity for that man. And then come to find out that that man was in jail for beating on his girlfriend or something. He was in trouble because he was an abuser, a black woman. So I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and take back that right there. And then these are just recent things. And then I remember I saw the video of the guy recently that was unalived by the cops with the K9, Daquan Johnson. And I saw that video, and once again, you know, I felt disgust and pity and everything. And I was like, you know, if I, you know, what's the word? I was like, if I was a different type of person and I still was pro-black, which I'm not anymore, I'm pro-black woman, I would have like talked about that because that's just ridiculous. Or the young black male that was strange fruited that they are trying to say there wasn't no foul play involved, which we all know that it was, you know, but it's just like, I find doing things like that for black men when they don't care. And yeah, just like Jazzy Ray said, I remember Stephon Clark too. I think Stephon Clark was the one that went on the roof or something like that and ended up getting unalived. And then I find out why I'm feeling bad for this man, that he got an Asian baby mama that he's letting talk about black women and he's dogging black women too. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. That just made me be like, you know what? I see that mostly all of y'all, when being exposed, y'all are definitely anti-black women. But for some reason, people want black women to advocate or try to protect and uplift or start movements for men that hate them or would have hated them if they were still in the land of the living. It just don't make no type of sense. I don't understand it. I really don't. Yes, that's exactly what he said, Mr. Reese. He said dark B words bring dark days. Why he's a black man. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, yeah, okay. And what's crazy is I don't know if y'all remember this, but when black women found out that he said that stuff, his name went to the wayside. They wasn't even talking about that man that much no more after that. I don't know if y'all remember this one black man. I think this was in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. He was all on Facebook talking about he was pro-police and that black people, if they just respect the cops and they don't back talk and they do what they're supposed to do, they won't be unalived. And then he ended up trying to intervene in an argument that a white tea couple was having, and the police was called. And instead of arresting the white tea man or whatever that was doing the stuff, they ended up unaliving him. And he had all of these pictures with white tea people all over his Facebook page and all of these pictures with white tea women. I remember just looking at all of his pictures because I went to Facebook to look at it. And I was like, oh, okay. What is wrong with y'all? Like, but it's so many stories like that about black men that get exposed. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And it's bad because I feel bad on one end. And I'll just tell y'all that it's not that many people in here. I feel slightly bad sometimes, like in my heart of hearts. And it's because I do know that not all black men are like this, right? I do know that. I do know that there are some black men out there that do love black women, do care for black women, won't harm black women and stuff like that. And what happens if one of those black men are harmed? But the sad thing is because they're a small minority, I have to go on and put them with the majority because I'm just not going to do it for any of them because I can't tell who's who, you know? So it's just like, what can you do? But I don't know, y'all. I guess I really didn't have too much else to say about this. I saw this article and I was just so angry. I wasn't even planning on going live, man. Cause yeah, I wasn't even planning on going live. But I saw this and I was just so mad. So mad because I'm just so tired of seeing, like, I just feel like there's no time where people respect black femininity, or I don't want to, I guess black females is the word, if I think so. Like, I don't think there's any time period where black females are respected. So whether you're a black girl, a black teen, a black woman, a black elder woman, regardless whatever stage of life you're in, there is no respect for you and no grace to be given. Nobody says, oh, let me take it easy on her because this is a baby. Oh, let me take it easy on her because this is a toddler. Oh, let me take it easy on her because she's a preteen. Oh, let me take it easy on her because she's a teenager. Oh, let me take it easy on her because she's a grown woman, or she's a mother. Or let me take it easy on her because she's a grandma. No time are black women given the grace or the benefit of the doubt. And that's sad to me. Hey, how you doing, sis? You have something to say?
You, I was, yeah, I was trying to wait until I had like some good service. I'm not sure if I do, but I definitely, of course, wholeheartedly agree, and it is hard for me to be empathetic towards black men today and black boys today, because unfortunately, I work in a daycare and I kind of see like the beginning stages of, like, of these kids, right? And by me working in the daycare, it's like majority of course of the parents are women, and they make excuses for their children's behavior. And then I find that sometimes they are like the head of the child's behavior. And I know that I had spoken with one of my coworkers about a young man in my classroom, and she just so happened to be, friends with one of our other coworkers, and her child just happens to go to our daycare. And at one point they were friends, they fell out, and then all of a sudden this child is being mean, being angry, telling my coworker he doesn't like her. I don't like you. And he's only 4 years old. And it was like the moment that they stopped, being friends, it was like she weaponized her child, onto this woman. Mind you, and of course I'm not gonna say names, but I'm gonna tell the truth. I don't care if my bosses see it, I don't care. But I'm just speaking out because I do get a chance to kind of see them and where they start. And he does have some questionable behavior, like he bags his butt up on other kids. He's twerking, he's doing very disruptive behavior, and he says the most outrageous things. And I just see that he, to me, displays some sociopathic behavior, because he does not care you in his way. He gonna knock you down, or he's gonna hit you or harm you, or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, mom, you tell her about it, and mom doesn't do nothing. It just gets worse and worse. And she pretends as though he doesn't act like that, but we know who is influencing him. And of course it's her, but then it's also, bringing him around different men and whatever she's saying and whatever she's watching. So at the end of the day, I don't care if a dad is not around, because I was a single mother at one point, and I don't care if dad isn't around. How you what you do around your kid is going to determine how they end up. And I know that I raised a son and I raised a daughter. They're both in their 20s now. And my son, he did not have his dad. He of course had my dad and other male figures, but I was mainly the person 90% of the time around him. And I said, you know what, me watching certain things, me doing certain things around my child, to me is disrespectful. In order for this generation of children to turn around, people are going to have to start viewing them as human beings. And I think that's what it is. They don't think that children have, personalities. And a lot of people in our community don't even see mental illness as a issue. Some people don't even believe that it even exists, so they think that they can whoop away the problem, and that's not what's going to ever happen. But I do see that a lot of kids nowadays, they are not being disciplined. The parents are giving up. The children are walking around, just teaching themselves whatever they need and whatever they need to know. And it's just a sad thing to see, as just being a daycare teacher, and just seeing the lack of I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, the lack of parenting, pretty much. The kids could be running around and I'm the first person to grab it, but the parent is right there. One of the kids slapped his mama in the face, you know, and he a big old boy, But I don't know. I just see that even if you don't have a dad, there's things that you can do to raise your child, you know.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think because like the way society is right now, but I mean I think society is wrapping up, bro. I think we're like regressing, but you can't, there's no proper way to parent no more. You have people, I see people, if they say like no corporal punishment, like don't spank your kids. Then, I see people say, well, I don't really spank my kids. If it's a little kid, I might tap their hands and say, don't do it. I don't do that or don't do this. I see people say, don't do that. Then I see people say, okay, well, I don't spank my kids at all and do that at all, but I'll take their belongings from them or punish them. Then I see people say, oh no, that's not the way to go. Like you're taking their things. You're not supposed to take their things. You're supposed to talk to them. Then I see when people are talking to their kids, they say, oh, you're not supposed to talk to them like that. They're supposed to have the autonomy to make their own decisions. And you're just supposed to try to help and guide them in the system. And I just listen to people and their parent, what they're telling parents, and basically there's no way to properly parent. However you do it, it's somebody that's going to tell you that you shouldn't be doing it. Whether it's like, spankings or, tapping a kid hand, like, something like that, or whether you're punishing them or whether you're taking away their belongings. Like I didn't see people talk about some, oh, you're not supposed to look in your child's phone. That's their personal property. You're violating their privacy. And I think that's absolutely insane because you're not going to be living in my house and you underage and I need to know what's going on. And I'm not going to look in your phone because that's your personal property. Like, are you dumb? That's how like kids be ended up. You like this one little girl was 13 and met some dude that drove 500 miles to meet her that she met on Roblox. Then he take her and got her at his house for 3 months. The parents looking for her. He didn't had her for 3 months, graping her. And she 13. And they end up finding her. Like, it's like, what? Like, that's the type of stuff that comes from that. But I'm not here to talk about people parenting skills. You do it however you want to do it. But I do think that that's another problem because nobody can parent and do nothing. You can't say nothing to nobody. Everything's bullying. Everything is this, that, and the third. Everything is going haywire. You got people out here talking about they are another type of gender. They not male. They not female. They're a cat or something. Like I seen these whole group of people talking about they were like cats. They knew that they were cats and they want to be addressed as like some type of word. I forgot the name of it. That's cat. So they're not male, female, but they're cats, bro. That's because, and they know that because that's how they feel. Like that. I mean, honestly, when I was coming up in the 90s, there's just no way in the world. No way in the world that would have ever got off here. But now everything is just like, like I don't even know what to say. And if you tell somebody like, hey bro, that's nuts. What are you talking about? You're phobic, like you're cat phobic out here, you are. Oh, like, okay. I don't know.
I definitely agree. There is no way. If you heard me, I was like, the one kid he slapped his mama, and she just let him, and then you got the one parent, she does get in his face about his behavior, but at the end of the day, he come back the next day and it's worse. So, I've noticed that a lot of parents, they discipline their children based on how they feel that day. Like, he getting on my nerves, but he might be getting on everybody else's nerves. Like, I'm in a barbershop working, and the little boy, he gets to jumping on top of the client that's sitting next to him that he does not even know, and he started slapping him. It's like he don't even know this man, and he just, what I'm saying? It's like parents are really checking out at this point. That's really what I see, that they're completely checked out, and they are confused as far as to what they're supposed to do. I know that me having 3 kids, I did raise all 3 of them differently. They, every child needed a specific thing from me, and I think that would start, when you start figuring out, okay, if I take this from this child, he don't like that. When my kids were young, I could they didn't care about technology or none of that stuff. Like, so it's like, what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to take books from them. They like to read, they like to draw. I'm supposed to do that, and that's crazy. So it's communication. Number one is everything. And you have to start with them young. And once they get used to it, and I believe that's how, they start, figuring things out. But I really believe that most of the parents of today are completely checked out.
I agree with you 100%. My daughter is 4 years old, so she just started pre-K. But there was a little boy that she was going to daycare with, and the daycare provider tells me that she took them to Chick-fil-A. It was my daughter and the other little boy, and this little boy turns around and is smacking another lady in Chick-fil-A, just repeatedly smacking her, smacking her, smacking her, smacking her. I'm like, what? And my daughter tells me about what happened. I'm like, what? He did what? And, she instantly knew like it was wrong. And then, I seen him in action, and he was acting up, and his mom was doing the same thing that you were talking about. She just wasn't acknowledging him at all. She wouldn't correct him. She was on her phone. And I'm 25. I'm a new parent. Like I said, my daughter is 4. She turns 5 in May. I don't plan on having more kids. I got my tubes removed. It's not for me. And I think more women got to be conscious if you are ready to take on the responsibility of truly being a parent, truly being present. And I know I couldn't have more than one because it's hard enough already. So I think about pouring all my resources into her so she can be successful. And I don't think that a lot of parents are thinking about, okay, I think about my daughter is almost half a decade now. Okay, what about 10? What about 15? What about 25? Where do I want her life to be and guide her in the right direction? And I feel like, I'm doing well with my daughter, but I'm present and I show up, even with me being in school, even with me being full-time parent. But I mean, working full time and everything. It's hard and it's stressful, but you do have to put in work, and you do have to invest in your children and do what's best for them. If you see your child is struggling, get them some resources. I think my daughter may have a little bit ADHD. I think her father is retarded. But I'm finding resources to get her help. If my daughter is struggling with math or anything, I'm going to get her a tutor. Parents got to be more vigilant about what's going on with their children, being realistic and not caring about what other people say. If you notice something is wrong, go get them help. It doesn't mean that your child is bad. It doesn't mean that they're stupid. It just means they need a little help. And I realized there were some struggles that I dealt with as a child and not getting that assistance. And my thing is, I want my daughter to succeed because I never know when God gonna call me home. And I just want her to thrive and be an intelligent young woman in this society. And I don't think these parents are even thinking that far. They're just trying to get these kids out the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to take your time raising your children, pouring into them, and also knowing your limits with kids. Don't let no man trick you out your spot to have more kids that you know that you can't mentally take care of, because they're a lot and they require a lot of attention, finances. And about the tablets thing, I just bought my daughter an iPad. I mean, not an iPad, an Amazon tablet. I didn't want her to have one because I was so scared that she would turn into one of those tablet kids that act all crazy and insane when you take the tablet away from them and they don't know how to act. I'm like, but I'm giving her a chance because she does a good job, and people compliment me on how well I'm doing with her. And, I think she's a sweet little girl. She has her ways, but she's a child, but I respect her boundaries, and I understand that she's her own human being. Me and her, we're different people. And I planned on having a strong relationship with my daughter, no matter what chapter and stage of life that she's in. And I want her to be comfortable to come with me to things. I always ask her, did someone touch you? Do you know what it's like when someone touch you? Like, one little boy exposed himself to her and she felt comfortable to tell me. And I instantly was on it. So I think parents need to bridge that relationship with their children, be realistic, and also talk to them, in their capacity. But try to just be better individuals. If you're struggling, go get some therapy for you. I go to therapy every 2 weeks, every week when I can. But you have to try to be a better parent if you can. Because like someone said in the comments, there's no handbook of being a parent. But when you don't try, that's when you fail. I'll land there for now.
Yeah, that is so true. I really love what you said. It's like you can't stop. It's not a lot of people think that parenting stops at 18. It does not stop at 18, because if your child get out there at 18 and get to acting a fool, doing certain things, you're the person left who is an influence in their life, and they are going to look at you. And I'm not saying that parents are to blame for their grown kids' behavior, but anytime, like, it doesn't stop at 18. Anytime your kid is like having an issue or something, you still have to keep pouring into your children. Like, you just can't give up. I had my oldest, she just turned 24 yesterday. And I'm telling you, like, when she hit the age 3 years old, she was stealing, she was hiding stuff, she was doing a lot of stuff. I'm not a thief. I've never smoked. I've never been to jail. I've never done any of those things. But one thing I knew that I needed to do is I needed to crack down on her. And it started out with whoopings and things like that. But then I had to change that, because that just wasn't working. So I went from whooping her to, now you got to learn some life lessons, And I just remember the day that I got fed up. And I had got into a car accident, I think that week before or 2 days before, and I had to go up to the police station to get a police report. And mind you, she had just, the day before she was supposed to go and go to the zoo, and she had took $20 off of a friend of the family. She had took $20 off of the person's, she was 7 by this time. She took $20. She like, I see it and I'm going to take it, And so she took it. And then she might even hear the story. I don't know. She might see I'm on here, but I don't know. But she took the $20. They didn't end up rewarding her by taking her, to the zoo. She didn't end up going to the zoo. So that next morning, which was a Saturday, I told her, I'm taking you to jail. So I did like a little acting, and I pretended to be the police, and I'm knocking on the door. We're coming to get, my daughter, or whatever the case may be. And I just remember when we got in the car, I said, Mr. Policeman, don't take my child, don't take her. And so we got in the car, we got to the police station, and I said, unfortunately, I have to take you to this police station, and they are going to arrest you. I'm talking about, I get to the sidewalk where the police station is. I have to drag her. It was like dragging a ton of bricks. Her feet were cemented to the ground. But at the end of the day, I had to teach her a life lesson. Like, if you keep doing the things that you're doing, this is where you're going to end up. And sometimes I believe that, situations like this, if I had given up on her, my daughter would probably be on the news somewhere, shoplifting or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I think a lot of parents, they ignore some of their children's behaviors, and they end up in this situation like these little boys.
And I feel like people need to utilize their communities as well, because I understand not everyone has a family, but my daughter, she got in trouble, was it last week? She I think hit somebody. And I tell my mother, I tell my father, I tell my grandmother, so everybody gets on her. She already knows that everyone is going to know about your behavior, and they're going to correct you. And I feel like you don't have to hit your children all the time. Even sometimes I may, flash about. I don't hit her, but I be like, hey, you need to get yourself together, or I'll give her that look, and she'll get herself together. And it's just like, you don't have to abuse your child, but you have to demand respect. I understand. And I've told my daughter, I'm not your friend. I'm your mother. I'm here to guide you and teach you through life. But you're going to respect me, and we're going to respect each other, because even though she's little, she deserves respect too. And when I'm wrong, I tell her, I'm sorry. I apologize. Mommy made a mistake. So you have to build that relationship with your child and utilize the community. If you have a good community around you, because we can't do it on our own. I'm a single parent, so it's hard for me. But it's nice to have people around who do care about her and love her and can help stir her if she's going down the wrong path. And she knows she's going to get in trouble, and she's going to get told, hey, you need to straighten up, because you can do better. You are better. And I always affirm her that she can do better, and she needs to do better, because I know she's, capable of it.
And you guys, and I definitely agree with what both of you guys said. I just also wanted to throw something in there that I'm gonna wrap this up. I just wanted to say, I also think that some of the problems that we're seeing, like in not just black boys, but also black girls, but a hyper focus on black boys, they are the products of women that probably didn't want to have them, or the products of women that didn't realize how difficult it was to have children, or the products of overstimulation and frustration in the mother because she's being the main caretaker, and or the father's not being there. And I just want to say that for anyone that is sexually active, and I feel like this also happened to, I'd probably say maybe people 35 and up, because I know my mom used to tell me that people that, I guess I would say like in your 40s or whatever now, that when they went from like the old type of programming to now they had everybody just having sex with anybody. The whole programming was, you meet somebody, you go out on a date with them, you have sex with them, you don't like them, then you go to the next person and you have sex with them, and the next person, the next person, the next person, until you find who you're supposed to be with. And they just made it like sex was just something, was like almost changing clothes. and interjected that into all of the programming that they put forth to probably people 35 and up, I want to say. And that had a lot of people having a very flippant attitude towards intercourse. And, people not using protection and people getting impregnated and people having children that they really don't want. And I also think that people don't tell the truth about parenting. Like everybody wants to come up and I'm not saying that this isn't directed to Brown Sugar or Kamisha. I'm so I just want to make that clear. I'm just saying that you have people that say the best things about parenting, like, oh, I love my daughter, oh, I love my son, everything's going smooth. But nobody says all of the horrific things that you have to go through parenting. Your kids driving you crazy. Your kids getting on your nerves. Your kids engaging in bad behavior. You trying to tell them what to do. They not listening to you. They getting 18 and up and they still doing stuff. And you feel like you still got to, help them out and do this, that, and the third. It's a lot to undertake and a lot to go through and to deal with. And if that's not something that you feel like you can do, you need to be protecting yourself. And I don't mean after the effect terminating. You need to make sure that you're not pregnant in the first place. Use protection, use birth control, or better yet, keep your legs closed in general if you're not trying to, have a child or whatnot. And I think that more people need to tell people about everything that goes on along with parenting and how hard it really is and how it's not for the faint of heart. And how even if, you have a child and let's say you don't vibe with them because because all kids are different, right? You might vibe with their personality, you might not. I know for me personally, when I was growing up, I'm an only child. Like I am an extremely silly person. I know that it pops out here and there, here on TikTok, but I'm far more sillier than y'all know. Like, and I've always been like that. Always cracked jokes. Always did that type of thing. Always. Always like slapstick humor and just stupid stuff. And my mother is a very serious individual. You know, she never liked the fact that I was like that. She would always tell me that I wasn't gonna get nowhere, I wasn't gonna be nothing because of these type of things, traits that I had. And people don't understand that you can also have a child that you don't like, that you really don't like them, but you're their parent, so you have to deal with them and interact with them, Because I honestly, really, truly believe that my mother did not like me. Like, she used to tell me all the time, like, you know what? The reason why you don't have no brothers and sisters because you yourself were a mistake. If I hadn't stayed home from that party with your father, who keep in mind my parents were married, all right, you know what I'm saying? So I would if I hadn't stayed home from this party with your dad, you wouldn't even be here. And it's just like, oh, okay, well, all right. Yes, I would never have kids. I don't want kids. Even when I would go out with her and my father, like when I was younger, and they would like, go in the store, she would always tell me, go with your dad, go with your dad, go with your dad, go with your dad in the store. She never wanted me to even be around at all. Like if he wasn't at work, because my mom was like a stay-at-home, wife or whatever. If when he was at home, she was like, get gone, get from around me. So anywhere, if my father was leaving to go anywhere, do anything, she was like, take her, 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 take her. So I know how that feels. And I think that more people don't tell people like, hey man, you can't just have no baby to keep no man. You can't just have no baby because you feel lonely. You can't have no baby for none of these dumb reasons because you don't know what type of baby you gonna have. You don't know if you gonna like that child. You don't know if they're gonna have a disability. You don't know if they're going to be like one of those type of loser kids that where you dealing with them when they 18, 19, 20, 35. They still trying to come stay with you when they almost 40 and you like 60, 70. You don't know what's going to happen. It's like an eternal process unless, your child does something super crazy to where you like cut them off. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, if you're a parent that cares, you're going to keep them around. So it's just like, I think those things are very important to talk about because I think a lot of these black boys are being failed by black men, specifically because these black men don't want them. They don't want these boys. They don't want these kids. They was only trying to get a nut off. They wasn't trying to be no father. They didn't want to be no father. All they wanted to do was have a quick nut and kick these women to the side. These women come talking about, oh, I'm about to have this baby. Hopefully I can keep this man around by having this child. Now, boom, you got the child here. And now the dad not there and the mother mad because she thought that having a boy was going to keep this man around and it didn't. So now she got to take care of him and she barely doing that. She giving him some food, telling him to go in the other room and get on the tablet or watch some TV. And that's all she doing. And I don't know. I think that, and of course, this isn't for every mother with sons. I just want to make that clear. I know there are plenty of mothers with sons that are raising their sons properly, but I'm just saying that I think that that's what happens when you have boys like this around, that nobody really wanted them. And that's why it's so important to tell people that are child free, be careful about what you're doing because you don't know what's going to happen and what you can have. Literally, when you have a child, anything can happen. You can have a healthy child, you can have an unhealthy child, you can have a child that can't even walk, talk, eat on their own. Now you stuck doing that. And I'm not saying that if you had a child like that, you would feel stuck, but I'm saying you would be stuck indeed. And if that's not what you're trying to do, you need to be careful in what you're doing because Smex is not without consequence. Everybody lie to people and tell them, oh, go ahead, girl. You like him. Go ahead and get you some. Go do that, girl. Oh, like I see these black women I was disgusted by talking. I think it was like a few days ago. Oh, well, when I want to have Smex, I just call these different guys over. I kick them to the curb. Well, what happens if you get pregnant by one of them? What happens if one of them give you a disease since he clearly with other women too, since you only calling them every now and again? It's like Smex is not without consequence. So you need to be aware of those things before you have a permanent decision. That's all I'm saying. Like, be careful, be careful, be careful. Because the last thing you want to do is have a child like this. These lawless demon boys. You know. But if Kamisha, you have something to say real quick before I get out of here, go ahead, sis.
Yeah, I was gonna add to what you were saying about, the mothers not wanting the kids, and sometimes the mothers don't want the kids because they were trapped. Some men are out there um trying to trap women and trying to punish women by putting a baby in them. That is their main and sole purpose. And so a lot of times these women they didn't want that kid and it ended up happening. Like women got to get just as smart as that young lady did. I don't know if you saw that video. She was dating that guy and the guy was trying his best to trap her with a baby, and she was taking what I'm saying, she was taking the things that she was taking so that she wouldn't have the child, right? And so when the guy found out about it, he got mad, and you can tell he was about to abuse her. He was angry, but he kept trying to have babies by her. And I think that I really believe he was trying to trap her. Well, I know he was trying to trap her, but I really believe that he was abusive, and she was really, really smart. But I think she was slightly not smart because of the fact that she kept letting him do that. I know she was in an abusive relationship, so you just don't know. The dynamics can be a little crazy about that, but at the end of the day, she was smart enough to know not to have no baby about that man, and young women gotta get like that. They do.
Yeah, I think that was a great point that Kamisha made. Punishment babies. Yep, that's what I call them, punishment babies. Babies that men inflict on women to punish them. To either try to tether them to them, keep them to stay, keep them with them, or even if they think the woman is going to go, that way he just always has a hold on the woman. He can always know where she at, what she doing, come back in and out of her life and wreak havoc on it under the guise of, oh, I'm just trying to see my child. I'm just trying to be a father. When he not trying to be a father, he just wants to bother that lady. Yeah, that's very important, not being trapped with punishment babies either. But yeah, because it's a lot of men out there that do that. Like they really only want to weaponize the child against the mother to keep tabs on her. Like they don't could care less about the child. Yeah, it's just sick. Oh, brown sugar, you said that's your baby daddy. See, that's what I'm saying. Like it's so many sad stories of women that experience that too. Like men do that a lot. But anyway, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and end this live, you guys. I just oh, did you have anything to say, Brown Sugar, before I get out of here?
Oh, yeah, real quick, Trick. I just want to say this was a great live, and I wanted to piggyback. Ladies, please be more realistic if you want to have children or not. It's perfectly okay to be child free. And I wish someone would have told me that option. And that's why I'm one and done. I may adopt, but they gotta be older. I'm not doing no babies. But I'm one and done, and I got my tubes removed. And one thing that will get me, hold on, what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I drunk some wine. One thing that will get me the fuck out of a dude's life is if he tell me he gonna get me pregnant. I'm gone. Okay, gone out the wind. That's the. Please don't ever tell me you're gonna get me pregnant. I feel like that's a violation to my life. I want Black women to live their lives under their conditions, be free, be happy. If you want to have children, please have it in confines of a marriage to a man who loves you, adores you, and will raise your children. And also be realistic. If something happens to that male, you could possibly be a single mother. So always understand the risk and be safe. Love you, ladies. Thank you, Trig. It was great talking to you guys tonight.
All right, all right. I got you. I got you. And I definitely agree with everything that Brown Sugar said. Also, Miss Kamisha as well. Like, I just really appreciate y'all for coming up here today in this evening. And yeah, hopefully we can help, help break this cycle, man. That's all I'm gonna say. And thanks so much to the beautiful Black women in the chat as well. I appreciate y'all too. And I'll see y'all next time. All right. Love y'all and hope y'all have a great weekend.